Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play DuckTales Remastered. In the last part, we went through the African mines, and now it's time for us to head up into the mountains at the Himalayas.
Pack my parka, Duckworth. We're headed for the Himalayas to hunt for the lost crown of Genghis Khan.
Shall I forward your call, sir?
Gee, can I come, Uncle Scrooge? I want to see the pretty Himalayan marmots.
Oh, not this time, Libby, darling. I need you here looking after the boys. Otherwise, who knows what kind of trouble they might get into.
Oh, that's very smart. Uncle Scrooge!
Indulge me, lads. The last thing this expedition needs is a wee lass about. Oh, I'm going to have enough trouble looking after the launch pad. Launch pad. I told you to land in the center of the mountain range, not in the center of a mountain.
Gee, Mr. McD, I thought that crash was rock solid.
The only rocks around here are the ones inside your head. Ugh, we're nowhere near Shadow Pass and the Lost Crown. Now fix this wreck so we can get airborne. And step on it, lad. I'm paying you by the hour, and I'll nae having you billing me for overtime.
No problem, boss. As long as I have this fuel regulator, we're as good as... Whoopsie-daisy. Oops. My mom always said I was a Butterfingers.
Oh, no. Please tell me you've got another one of those.
Sure I do. But it's back in Duckburg.
Launch pad!
Don't worry, Mr. McD. I'll climb down and get it.
You'll do no such thing. I'll get it. You stay here and try not to cause any more damage.
Okay. You're the boss.
Keep in mind the condition the plane was in for later, by the way. Either way, the Himalayas are probably the most open level in the game due to something I'll get into in a few moments. The one thing I should note is that you actually cannot pogo everywhere in this level. If there's snow on the ground, if you attempt to pogo into it, as you'll see I think one time later on, you'll actually get stuck in the snow and you have to jump out of it. You can pogo off the enemies, but don't pogo on the actual terrain. Also, if you're playing this game on hard mode or above, this is the only other level besides Transylvania that has a health extension, and thus you should grab it because 5 hearts is pretty good for that difficulty.
Ha-ha! Jackpot! Here now, don't touch that. I need it to fix my plane. Stop! Oh, it's too late. Those bunny bandits have torn it apart. I've got to find those pieces fast.
So now that the actual objective has been split up into 3 pieces, we actually need to hunt down all 3 of them. And they're hidden in specific bunny enemies located throughout the stage. Because of this, you might actually very easily miss one and you have to just go back. However, the interesting thing is, if you continue to stay to the left here, you'll eventually go into a vertical section that loops all the way back to the plane, making this entire level one giant circle. Because of that, it's also theoretically the second most open level in the game because there's nothing stopping you from just ignoring the bunnies and going back to the start, getting as much money as you can along the way, and then going back to the bunnies.
Morning glory! Now to find the other 2 pieces.
Notable though, it's around this point in the game where I actually stopped bothering going after a lot of the money. I still get a good amount along the way, don't get me wrong, but I don't actively hunt it as much as I have been. Because it was around this point where I finally realized, wait, all this is for the gallery, I don't need to do anything with it. The ice physics in this game aren't that intrusive though. In fact, especially if you pogo around, they don't do anything to you. However, there's getting stuck by the way, the Mighty Duck cartoon looking goalie, hockey player duck enemies, can be surprisingly annoying for some reason, and I can't exactly place why. Either way, there's a way you could get down here from the right, but because I went to the direction I did to get the first parts, I need to come over here in order to get the second part of the, thing.
It's the second piece of the fuel regulator. One more piece to find and we can get out of this overgrown icebox.
fuel regulator. That's right. I already forgot the thing we were trying to collect pieces for. Also, I love the background here. I actually really like the Himalayas no matter what in both games. I really love this song here too. But mind you, saying a song is good in the DuckTales soundtrack's kind of redundant.
That's me kilts. It's Bubba Duck. Looks like that poor little pea brain got caught in a deep freeze.
Whoa, what happened? Scrooge? Ooga ooga! Scrooge saved Bubba!
There, little fella. Uncle Scrooge is here to help.
Scrooge saved Bubba! Scrooge saved Bubba! Scrooge saved Bubba! Bubba helps Scrooge! Bubba helps Scrooge forever!
You know, I could use a bit of help smashing away this giant icebox. What do you say, Bubba?
Ooga ooga!
In that case, follow me, lad.
I know Bubba was somewhere in the original NES game, but I cannot for the life of me remember where he was. But I know his role is expanded here, as he'll actively follow you to take out any ice blocks that are blocking your path. He'll also try to kill enemies. Keyword try, he really sucks at it. However, you do need to keep your eye out ahead of you just so you can make sure you can grab any treasure that's in the way. Now, for some reason, when I first played this game, I thought they actually got a new voice actor for Bubba, but no, that's still Frank Welker. I just didn't realize that he was actually voiced by Frank Welker. There's a lot of characters that you don't realize are voiced by someone you know the name of so well, but then you realize, oh, okay. I've had a couple of those throughout my life, namely with Frank Welker. A couple of Steve Blooms in there somewhere too, like Gilmon from Digimon Tamers. That was an interesting day.
This is the end of the line, Bubba. It's time for you to head to the surface.
Bubba home with Scrooge?
Aye, Launchpad is waiting to take you home to Duckburg. On your way now.
And we need to follow him because the third bunny is this way. And in fact, I think this is the only way to get the third bunny and then the plane. One thing I'm not sure about with this level, though, is if similarly to Huey, Dewey, and Louie in Transylvania, if the parts always drop in the same order no matter what bunnies you go after. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case, though.
Oh, look at the ducks! The last one! Now, to get this fuel regulator back to Launchpad.
And now we can just head right for the plane, though I do need to show how to get there. There are a couple of optional paths you could take along the way, but again, I'm not actively going out of my way to get money from here on. Like, if I see a location where there's some and it's right in my path, why not? But I'm not going to take, like, this alternate route that leads just to a bunch of diamonds that's, like, 2 rooms away. Though if you're playing the game, I do recommend doing that just so you can attempt to buy more stuff in the gallery if you're going for that platinum. Though I'm actually not sure how long it would theoretically take to get the platinum trophy / every achievement and such. I could probably look that up on How Long to Beat. Because How Long to Beat is pretty trustworthy with that. DuckTales Remastered. The one secret I am showing off is because it was here in the original game is up here. Just because I really like secrets like this. Let's see. Completionists, roughly between 6 and 16 hours, median around 9. That sounds about right. And once we go to the right here, I believe we're going to finally have looked around back to the ship. And if I actually forget if you could just go left in the NES game. You may have been able to. It's been a while again since I last played the NES version. Also, the plane's looking real good, Launchpad. How'd you do that?
Here you go, Launchpad. Good as new. Now get this bucket of bolts back in the sky.
Just a tick, Mr. McD. This oughta do it. Now there's your problem.
Webigail! What in the world are you doing here?
I wanted to see the pretty crown, Uncle Scrooge.
Oh, great. Now I've got to babysit you and Launchpad.
But I can help, Uncle Scrooge. You're not like the boys, are you? You don't think I'm just a worthless tag-along, do you?
We're ready for liftoff, Mr. McD.
Ah, not a moment too soon. Strap in tight, Webby dear.
Off we go! Nothing but blue skies ahead. Clear as a bell. Not a cloud in sight.
Launchpad, Knock off that infernal chatter.
Gee whiz, I was only trying to lighten the mood.
If anything, we need to lighten the plane. Feels like she's lost maneuverability with all the, unexpected cargo we seem to have picked up.
No worries, Mr. McD. I've got the coordinates for Shadow Pass locked in. We'll be there lickety-split.
More like lickety-splat.
Glomgold!
Nice to see you, McDuck. Especially since you've led me right to the treasure. To whom do I owe my thanks? Your idiotic pilot? Or did you play it safe and let those two wee ones fly the plane?
You dirty cheat! Only you could sink so low.
And at 15,000 feet, no less.
Complain all you like. The lost crown of Genghis Khan will look right at home on my feathered noggin. Wouldn't you say, Scroogey?
That's what you think. You'll never beat us to Shadow Pass.
So, the crown is in Shadow Pass, eh? Thanks for telling me.
Launch pad!
And now we have a mini-boss against the world's second richest Scottish duck, Flintheart Glomgold. He likes to shoot a bunch of Beagle Boys out of his cannon onto your plane, just take them out really quickly. After a few, he shot out a bomb, which I'm actually not sure what happens if it explodes. You need to gulf swing it on out of there, it'll hit his plane, repeat 3 times, and you'll win. The farther on the fight, I think he'll shoot things out a bit quicker, and I think the fuse on the bombs get continuously shorter. But on the whole, this is just an easy little distraction. Not gonna lie though, it does remind me of a certain section from a certain Sonic the Hedgehog 4 episode 2. Oh, actually, sorry, I think I'm wrong. I think you need to hit Glomgold a total of 5 times with bombs, not 3. Sorry, I think I was thinking of just about every Zelda game ever made. That rule of 3 really gets dug into your brain given how often it's in games, doesn't it? Either way, that should be it.
You haven't seen the last of me, McDuck!
Take that, you big old meanie! We sure showed him that cheaters never cheat and winners never win, didn't we?
Try it the other way around and I couldn't agree more, Webby. Pickle me, pin feathers, there it is! Shadow Pass directly ahead. Take us down, Launchpad. Slow and steady this time.
No problemo, Mr. McD.
We're close to that treasure now. I can almost smell it.
Wasn't me.
Then what was it?
That definitely wasn't me.
Whatever it is, it won't last long if it tries to get between me and the lost crown.
Uncle Scrooge, don't go!
Dinna worry, lassie. Whatever is in that cave is no match for your Uncle Scrooge. I earn my fortune by being smarter than the smarties and tougher than the toughies. If anything's in there, it had better step aside.
But I'm scared.
Stay with Launchpad. He'll take good care of you.
Stay with Launchpad? Gee, now I'm extra scared.
God, seeing scenes like that reminds me how much I actually did not like Webby in the original series. In the new series, though, she is awesome. Well, I outright would probably say one of the funniest characters. Now, one thing I haven't quite gone over with this game yet is speedrunning. Speedruns for this game are quite a bit slower than the NES version. They're roughly half an hour long on all versions, glitchless or otherwise. And in the NES game, they're about 10 minutes long, which is yikes. And time for our boss, the Yeti. The Yeti jumps all over the screen, and when it reaches the extreme wall, it'll knock the wall, causing ice blocks to fall. However, eventually a rock falls, you need to golf swing that into the ceiling, it'll knock one of the blocks down, jump on it, and that's 1 hit down. 5 hits is all it takes. Later on in the fight, it does start to get a ground pound move, which it telegraphs by pausing the air a little bit. And I still suck at dodging anything ground pound related in this game. And eventually later on as well, the rock will fall in a different location that you need to wait for it to jump in order to do anything with, like so. Overall, not a very hard boss. I think in the NES game, I'm going off my memory at least. I want to say the Yeti may have been one of the hardest bosses, but on the whole, here, not so. Mind you, on the whole, like I said, even though this game can be about as hard as the NES game in the stages sometimes, depending on how reckless you are, I think this game might just be, if not the same difficulty, probably a little easier due to some of the added benefits you have, like extra health, Beakley being a bit better in some ways and such. Also, later on in the fight, the extreme 2 ice blocks get destroyed, so you need to actually only use the middle one. It sounds annoying, but honestly, it doesn't really add much to the fight. Also, I haven't mentioned it yet, but I really love the boss theme remix in this game, especially because that added saxophone is just, oh, it's good to my ears. Either way, with this ice block barrage, we'll get our final rock, which we can knock down, and that should end the fight.
Stop! Please stop!
Webby!
Be nice, Uncle Scrooge. That poor fuzzy lady didn't mean any harm. Did you, ma'am?
Ma'am, don't be daft, lass. This monster tried to pummel me. Why, I nearly cashed my last check.
Oh, I know, ma'am. But Uncle Scrooge is really nice once you get to know him.
Webby, you understand this creature?
Of course, Uncle Scrooge. It's all in the Junior Woodchuck Guidebook.
What's she saying now?
She says she's sorry if she hurt you. She's just upset because she stepped on a thorn and can't get it out.
A thorn? You don't suppose... Here's your thorn, Abigail. The lost crown of Genghis Khan.
The pretty crown! You found it!
Hey, the poor creature was standing on it. Webby, I cannot thank you enough. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. Without your help, we never would have found the treasure. Oh, and thanks to you too, ma'am.
I think she likes you, Uncle Scrooge.
Well, that's odd. Usually it's me the ladies go gaga for.
Well, let's get home before she grows any fonder of me.
And that's the Himalayas. Not a bad level, but it does have issues, be it the ice physics if you're actually walking around. You can't pogo over a bunch of the stage, otherwise you'll get hit, get stuck in the snow, allowing you to easily get attacked, or even the gimmick on your first time run can be kind of annoying if you just can't find where that last bunny is. But honestly, not a bad stage. I like it. Actually, now that I think about it, the difficulty modifier might be a multiplicative of percentage of your money, actually.
The lost crown of Genghis Khan is mine, lads. All it took was a bit of tenacity and perseverance.
And a little kindness and patience. Right, Uncle Scrooge?
Right you are, Webby darling. Now, where's Bubba run off to?
Yeah, where is he? He was here a minute ago.
Why does no answer, Baba?
He's over there having a tea party with Webby's toys.
No. Baba smash!
Uh-oh, Webby. Sounds like Bubba's not getting along so good with your Quacky Patch dolls. You keep away from my dolls, mister!
Remember, kindness and patience, Abigail. Set a good example for the lad. Well then, what treasure shall we look for next?
Or rather, I think the difficulty modifier is just getting another percentage of your money back. Either way, with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 6, we're heading off to probably the most famous level in the game. See you guys then.